So my brother-in-law lives in the city, and he had this whole house generator, 20 kW, outside of his house, and he had Generac come out and look at it, and they spent 3 days on it, and the tech couldn't get it to run, couldn't get it to do anything. So they convinced him into buying a new one. He called me, he said, hey, he said, you want an old generator? I said, sure, I'll take it, bring it up to me. So he brought it up here, and I decided to take a look at it and see what I could figure out. I'm not much on natural gas. We don't have natural gas. And so anyhow, I took a rag, I took the throttle body, took the air filter, and I took a rag and I soaked it in gas. I laid it on top of that air filter, put a battery in it. It started cranking, it fired right up. So that tells me that there's nothing wrong with the engine. It's got something wrong with the natural gas part of it, and all that and the way that works. I don't have a manual on it. I don't have anything to do with it. I don't have natural gas. I thought maybe we can convert it and put it on gasoline. So that's my plan, is to convert this thing and make it run on gas. So if you look down here, you'll see this is a natural gas line that went to the throttle body, and this is a natural gas line that went to the throttle body. And here's your shut off solenoids that turns it off and on. So I'm just thinking we're just going to get rid of all this stuff, but I'll show you what my issue is. You look at that oil, it's just a spotless clean. It's got a tag on it that says it was serviced in 2020. I bet the thing doesn't have 20 hours on it. But one thing I thought was pretty interesting, let me get my flashlight out of my pocket. So if you look right there where the radiator was made in Russia. I googled this number on this engine. This engine's made in China. Boy, oh boy, yeah. So I took the intake manifold off, and you can see it's a downdraft. This is the throttle body right here. It's where your natural gas lines went on. This is your throttle. So to find a small downdraft carburetor is about impossible. And the way the bolt pattern is, I can't turn it upside down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to machine the bottom of this for a carburetor and plate the top. And I'm going to use this. I had found this old Zenith carburetor laying around here, and it's exactly the same throat size as what this natural gas throttle body is. So we're going to get this thing all cleaned up and get the jets all cleaned up and machine the bottom of the intake manifold to fit the carburetor and put her all back on there, and we're going to see what happens. So we put our carburetor all back together again. We've taken and machined the bottom of it out for the carburetor to sit on, and where the old throttle body used to sit, we've got a cap off of a Freon compressor that came with a new compressor. We'll put a gasket on the bottom of that. We're going to run them bolts through there, bolt that carburetor on, and we'll have us an updraft manifold. So we put the carburetor, you can see where we run the bolts all the way down through the top. So here's a look at our electronic throttle. We had to build a little bracket to hold that. Had to modify this air filter. We put an elbow in the air filter. Had to modify that. Hooked up our PVC hoses. The coolant level sender right here is bad. We jumped it for now. We'll have to get a new coolant level sender. It's bad. But our little nurse tank, and I put a little fuel shutoff in it. Eventually I'll get a decent sized tank and put a little low pressure rattle pump in here to supply fuel to it. Gonna get us a circuit breaker panel and put in here and run some outlets, some 220s and some 110s. We bolted it down to a skid so that we can just slide it in the back of a truck and take it someplace. So I got the thing running and I couldn't get but 54 volts out of it, and I got to looking around at it, and these two load sensing wires right here that go to the voltage regulator behind this were not connected. So once I connected them, I went back and I checked both legs. I got 120 on this leg and 120 on this leg, so it's all good to go now. But yeah, it made it interesting for a little while. Always do like a good challenge. It's been fun. I enjoy things like this. So we finished putting we put a little rattle pump on here, a little 12 volt, 2 PSI rattle pump and a fuel filter, fuel line. And I've put a big tank on here for in case you want to have a long period of time to run it, but what I don't want is I don't want the fuel to sit in it to go bad. So I put a fuel shutoff valve, and we're going to run off of a 5-gallon can to keep it running and keep everything limbered up. But if you had a long term, you'd pull this fuel line out and stick it in here and fill up this big tank, and you could run it on this big tank for a long period of time. We've got our surround doors. We fixed a little bit of that rust and painted it up. We got our surround doors to keep it quiet. We've put some outlets on it. We put a circuit breaker box on it. We put two 50 amp 220s. I'm going to build some cords. And pretty much done with it. I think it's going to be real handy. I'm going to start it up and close the doors and let you listen to it with the doors being on it and see how much quieter it is. It probably won't be as quiet as what you think because it's sitting on a pallet and there'll be a lot of noise coming out underneath of it, but it's got to quiet it down a little bit anyhow. Turn the fuel on. Turn the fuel pump on. Give it a little choke. Off, let it run out of fuel so it doesn't go bad sitting in the carburetor. I think that'll be awesome. Hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.